And we are live once again, the WrestlePurists Podcast, hosted by myself, Charlie, and Joe Hulbert. And I guess this is the Christmas edition of the WrestlePurists Podcast, the Christmas edition of the AEW Dynamite review. And yeah, we've got a lot to get into as usual. AEW Dynamite review, as I just mentioned, Bayley is the latest to sign a new deal with WWE, and we've got a few more things to get into. So first things first, please like, subscribe, send in super chats with any questions, any takes, anything like that. We'll get them read out. Turn on the post notifications. Hope everyone's doing good and having a nice Christmas season. Joe, you're in the spirit, aren't you?
Mate. Merry Christmas, everyone, or Merry Blissmas, I guess, in the case of this hat. Monty, you're not very festive this evening. You're kind of letting the team down a little bit. Charlie brought the tree. I brought the jumper and the hat. Could you have what if you had like a false beard of some kind? That'd be good.
I'm looking around my room.
Well, nonetheless, as you try and figure this out, I hope everyone is well. It is the last flagship episode before Christmas, so this is a triumphant occasion. Once again, Dynamite was good enough to get me to do this, which is even more triumphant in many ways, more important in the grand scheme of things. And I am at the start of a probably 6-hour doubleheader, so let me warm up in this one, and I'll get there in the end, folks. Hope everyone's well.
Yeah, we won't push the pace too much on you tonight.
Thank you.
We're gonna let you go into the green in good condition. Ready to put in that work rate, classy. But Charlie, how are you? You all ready for Christmas?
I am feeling the festivities. Very happy that it is Christmas time. It's actually my favourite time of year. Busy few days, but that's what Christmas is all about. Spending time with family, going to get drunk on Christmas Eve, obviously, all the traditions. But yeah, excited to talk about Dynamite as well. It was a good episode. I enjoyed it. I actually watched most of it live, which is I haven't been recently, but yeah, good grabs, good times.
Yeah, it's a pretty good episode, and I'm sure we're going to get to it, of course. AEW Dynamite review. It's what we do here, it's what we do better than anyone, isn't it, Joe Hall? But it's
apparently, yeah. I don't watch any other ones. Well, not this one actually. I'm just on it. So.
You don't
watch the
tape
myself. Yeah, I almost exposed myself. There, I was examining the footage, scanning for it. Yeah.
Oh man, but today is an interesting day because a lot of the WWE releases that were released in, I think it was, of course, mid-September, were their 90 days are up, Joe Hall, but they're free to do what they want, go where they want, talk to who they want, sign with who they want, and there's been quite a bit of activity with some of them. Mustafa Ali was almost like a meme, all these indie promotions putting out graphics with Mustafa Ali in different countries all over the place. So it was at least like 5 or 6 bookings that I saw.
There's more. Like 10. There's like 10 now.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like 9 different promotions, 10 bookings. Nuts.
Yeah, Mustafa Ali has been he's been a hot free agent. Clearly, a lot of people blowing up his phone. So he looks like he's going to be very, very busy in 2024, and I wonder if anywhere will approach him with something more long term instead of these indie dates. Obviously, he did post kind of like a promo video to start his free agency with a bang. He's doing a world tour, and evidently, Dolph Ziggler's already announced that he's doing. Is it Puerto Rico, Joe?
Yes,
he's doing something in Puerto Rico. Hoping to see a bit more from him. Shelton Benjamin as well as another one people will look at. Mason Mansour, they already showed up in DPW. Elisa Leon, she's been doing stuff with the Crash in Mexico, I think. So yeah, some of them are already getting active. But yeah, I was expecting Mustafa Ali to get busy. Well, I was like kind of surprised by like the sheer amount that all just dropped today. I don't know where you two stand on it. But
yeah, well,
it was a lot.
I think the video he posted. I think anyone who followed his WWE run will not be surprised that he's going to kind of really make a point of that part of it, right? Like the presentation part of it, and the way he's kind of packaged as an attraction. And today, as day one, it was a home run, right? I think
100%.
We have to be honest in saying when you work in a lot of these independents, a lot of these matches individually won't be seen, but when you create that kind of like a boom thing, it's a perception thing, right? Yeah. He's going to make those shows and I'm sure have good matches and work his absolute hardest. But from the broader perspective, there are many people that will never watch any of those matches that just saw the post today and were like, whoa, Ali's got a big year ahead of him. And that's what it's all about. So he nailed it on that front. The video was pretty damn cool also that he posted. So I think he's going to do really well. I think he'll pretty soon be signed to a contract, and he feels like an AEW guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think his skill set is very well suited to being outside of WWE, regardless of if it is AEW or even if he's just independent for a bit, which, let's be real, the independent scene could do with some folks that are just doing the independent scene, because
Definitely.
that's part of why he's got like such buzz in the indies, is because it's not, there ain't a lot of great options that are fresh and exciting, and he's one of them. So hopefully he makes as much money as he can.
And Charlie, based off what you've been up to over 2023, 2022, to be honest, there's a good chance that you will be at a show where Mustafa Ali is performing next year. So
I will.
You looking forward to it?
Oh yeah, I liked a lot of what he did in WWE. Like when I was watching, and he was active there. He'll be at the Rev Pro show February 18th. Unfortunately, in Crystal Palace, but can't complain. It's Will Ospreay's last show as well, so. He's fighting Robbie X, which is one of like the cruiserweights. So a lot of the matches I've seen, he's being booked against cruiserweights, which is like, I think pretty interesting to know. But yeah, he's really hit the ground running, and I'm sure I'll see him live at other shows as well, because I just can't stay away from him. I'm here, there, and everywhere all the time. So
yeah, who knows? He could end up in I don't know. He could find himself in the best of the Super Juniors or something like that in 2024.
Yeah,
Don't think that would exactly shock anyone, would it? What else? There's been a bit more movement as well. Matt Riddle has signed with MLW. I think he signed some sort of deal with him. He's wrestling Jacob Fatu. Big fan of Jacob Fatu. I mean, Matt Riddle. Could have had it all. He could have had it all, Joe Hulbert, but he's made some very questionable choices, and I guess at this point, I'm not particularly super interested to see what he does. I hope Jacob Fatu gets some sort of clout off it, because, of course, Matt Riddle isn't.
Yes, me too, Monty. Good call. I think what Monty was trying to say is he's not convinced MLW is anyone's first choice, I think is what you were getting at. Which is a hot take.
Yeah, I think I'm back now. When I freeze now, I just kind of just laugh to myself. It's just like,
yeah,
I got professionals on screen with me. They'll take care of it.
Something like that. But MLW's red hot right now, so I'm sure they're.
Why you gotta do that?
They're flying. I mean, come on, dude. Signed with MLW.
I don't know if he's signed with MLW or if he's just doing a few days.
With MLW,
Joe, you know as good
to MLW.
Joe, you know as well as I do. Court Bauer is he get artistic with the word and these things. So.
What does it mean, Monty? What does that mean? I work for MLW now.
Well, it's not good.
I might as well say it. They run about as many shows.
Well,
I don't know how much longer we can pretend we can play this game with Cool. How many more meetings does he need? In all seriousness,
it's
look good for them. They booked Rocky Romero, so shout out to him. God bless.
Yeah, that's a big signing. At least we know that we still can hope, that the Impact big signing, the TNA signing, Hard to Kill. It's not going to be Matt Riddle, I don't think.
Great.
Merry
Christmas.
Yo, that's what it is, bro. Dolph Ziggler, he's going to be the centerpiece of the promotion. I'm ready. I'm ready for Impact.
So, where are we at on this? Like, would we rather Dolph come in and do some kind of quirky things as kind of a novelty in AEW, or actually try and have like a top guy run in TNA? What are we preferring of those two options? Charlie, where do you stand on this? You're on B.
I just want to see him have some cool matches. I don't care where he signs. I don't really want to see him do a tag run with his brother. No diss to Ryan Nemeth, but I have, I don't know, it's not exactly going to save the division, so let's not waste time on it, I think. But, yeah. Just get Ziggler doing cool shit, I guess.
I'm torn.
Option B, baby.
Usually I would agree, but in his case, I would kind of just rather he do 10 hand-pick matches, I'd rather him wrestle. But the idea of him wrestling, imagine him and Dragon closing a collision, or him and Kenny wrestling, or
Yeah,
him
that
and
would be
Takeshita
nice on
wrestling.
one night of the year, you know?
But who's he going to... I mean, yeah, I'm not against it. I would like to see him wrestle regardless. I'm probably going to watch that hilarious Puerto Rico show just because I respect taking a book in Puerto Rico.
What booking?
He will
I
blade
respect this
too.
business.
You really want to make an impact? Run the razor coast to coast, brother. Puerto Rico, bring it back. Let's get Puerto Rico hot again.
Yeah, I do think. I think some of these promotions that have got Mustafa booked probably do have Ziggler booked as well. But they're like, today's Ali's day, so we're gonna just hold on to this one, keep it in our back pocket. When things are a bit quiet, just throw the graphic out. So I can see people like GCW doing that. Honestly, it wouldn't shock me if he popped up at Progress, because people love doing Progress when they're like fresh out of a contract. They just come over and pop themselves in the UK. Wow. It's like fair.
He could do. He wouldn't surprise me, Dolph, that is, of being a guy who gets one of those, like an evening with deals over here. He had a long enough career, he could do he could make the UK thing a little bit of
inside the ropes.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what Kenny's thing was, but yeah, he could do one of those. I mean, he would probably do a stand-up show instead, which
we'll be there, Joe.
Well,
the stand-up show during All-In weekend, I might have to be there for.
We'll be there. Him and Nigel does his magic.
Yeah, Nigel does the magic.
I have heard that magic show is incredible. Have you guys heard anything about this? I've heard it's incredible.
I've heard it's really fucking good, and I was really sad that I didn't go to it last year.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going.
Yeah. He ain't going to be doing it this year, bro. He's going to be locked in this year. 500 press-ups, running the streets of London, getting ready to kill the American Dragon, so...
Beautiful stuff. What other free agents have we got?
Holly is apparently what people think is going to be for TNA, which is quite funny, to be honest. I don't know why multiple people think that.
They wouldn't do it like that, because we've seen how Impact has brought in kind of the the not as big names from these releases. And remember what was his name, bro? No Way Jose.
Yeah. No way.
What was his Impact name?
No way. No way. They did that campaign before. After all of the releases, they did that campaign where they had they teased all of them. They showed a Bulgarian flag. There's just Miro might be there.
I remember that.
And it was No Way and Aiden English.
I fucking love TNA, man.
God bless them.
That's real gross.
It's a promotion, with someone said in the chat, shouting Benjamin Elias. I mean, sure,
He's a TNA guy for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't shock
Lucky me.
Melton. Yeah.
Do you think they go for any of the big guys? Dabakato.
Oh, the big. You mean actually tall
Shanky?
guys?
Yeah, Shanky.
Oh. I thought you meant Okada. I was like,
yeah, probably.
Shanky.
So one of them will probably be Eric Young's heater.
Shanky tore it up at that house show in India with Gunther before he got released, didn't he? You remember the clip? Having that insane chop battle.
I think Eddie Edwards probably needs a new heater, right? So one of these fellas is probably going to work with Jacob Fatu in the aforementioned major leagues. So
yeah,
hopefully everyone does well. Seriously.
Yeah, honestly, some of them may even do something outside of wrestling. That does happen.
Brooks probably going to go straight back into fitness modeling, and that'll probably be a thing now. Good on her.
A lot less bumps.
Longer career.
Who else, man? Mansoor, Mace. See what they do in DPW. They've kept themselves.
Been announced for GCW as well, I think.
Not bad. But yeah, hopefully they keep themselves busy. Mustafa Ali seems to be very busy, and you just assume at least Dolph Ziggler as well is going to be pretty busy. And it'd be nice to see Shelton do as much as he wants to do.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Seeing people think that he's going to have some mid-card title reign in AEW or something, you're just like, well, hold on. You know, he's getting up there, good old shouting it.
I think that's the thing with Dolph and Shelton, though, to be honest, of like, they're not going to have the same output as Ali because I don't think their motivation is going to be the same, right? They're at very different points in their career. Ali's a guy who has been kind of waiting for this opportunity, right? He requested his release, God, what are we looking at? 3 years ago, right? A long time ago. So I think he's obviously going to approach it differently than those two will, but if they want to be busy, I'm sure they could be. So time will tell.
What about Rick Boogs? You see him end up in TNA?
I forgot that he was released.
That's the last one, I promise.
He worked. It's crazy that he was on Mania, like
Yeah.
in 2022. You know, and I know that was a very unfortunate evening for him, but like he was on that show. He was in a tag title match, which is
He was.
those belts main evented. It's very strange, but anyway,
It's so-
yeah, it's weird. I'm not convinced I've ever like actually seen him wrestle. He's pretty jacked, which is
Oh
more
my
important
God.
in some ways.
He's hilariously jacked. Like, hilarious. Look, because he was
He is
always jacked. Then I think he
scary.
got injured once, like during his main roster run. And when he came back, like I said, he was always jacked anyway. But he came back from this one injury, like hilarious. Like
Yes.
you thought Randy
like
Orton at
Brian
Survivor
Cage
Series was funny. You know, this was, you know, Rick Rick Boogs got so big that I remember that like when he used to like come out to do like I don't know, do Shinsuke's intro or whatever, like I would like laugh. Like just from him appearing and just looking like just insane, you know. But yeah, big Rick Boogs, you know, you could see him in TNA, you know.
For
So
sure.
he does. He's very charismatic and he's very big. So
NWA champ Rick Boogs, what do you reckon?
he's got the characteristics, you know.
They haven't come up yet in this conversation. The big dogs, the National Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah, they
They've
might
made
go
no
for
move, yeah.
they
Monty,
might go for Matt Riddle.
Wrestling Heritage. The NWA. Wrestling Heritage.
I'll be careful with that one. Anyway, you know what I'm gonna put up? I'm gonna put the banner up, people. Let's get some super chats. Let's get to them. And yeah, keep them coming. Keep them coming. Brian Buster 499, appreciate you as always. We'll be making my way to the theatre in a few hours to see MJF presents the Iron Claw. God bless WrestlePurists and God bless World Class Championship Wrestling. MJF presents is a good
Incredible.
bit. You know, it's a good bit. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I'm very much looking forward to when it hits theatres in the UK. We've got a few months,
About
unfortunately.
7 months.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to do it by other means, unfortunately. It's a shame
It's
they put us
illegal.
in this position, Joe.
That's
It's a
illegal.
shame.
Nah, just gonna fly to a different country that's got it in
Yeah,
theatre.
mate, how do
You
you
probably
know?
would, Charlie, honestly. It
Yeah,
wouldn't surprise me.
What about me? What?
Log on one day and chokes at the airport. Just fly to LA, folks. Report back afterwards.
It probably would be LA as well. That's
Yeah.
the running bit. Always
I'm gonna wait it out. I think on the. I'm gonna be brave and fight off the spoilers for the Iron Claw.
Yeah.
You're gonna avoid spoilers, folks. Don't tell us what
Yeah.
happens in the Iron Claw. Whatever you do.
Yeah, please.
No, I don't think it's going to be exactly a Disney happy ending, you know.
Well, Marshall and Ross look pretty good. We're back.
God bless America. David Wayman, 199. Can the AEW TV deal survive a second merger? I mean, I guess. I'm just going to say yes.
Mergers are very scary.
They are
World
very
Championship
scary,
Wrestling. Nightmares. Images flashing before my eyes. No one knows. We're just going to say yes, but we're actually all terrified because merger in wrestling is like, you know, it's history, bro. It's scary business. So hopefully, right? Otherwise, we're all fucked.
Yeah, I'm out of the job.
It's over.
Scott, $6.99 Canadian, appreciate it. All the Mustafa Ali graphics are wild to see. I think he'll have a big 2024. I think you'll be right, mate.
Absolutely.
I think you'll be right. Willie499, appreciate you as always. Who do y'all think leaked Mercedes contract demands to SRS? Very purposeful framing and timing of the news, in my opinion. Someone certainly wanted it out there. I don't think there's that much of conspiracy behind it. I think it's just it was said with the report that, she's getting one of the biggest deals by a woman in WWE history. And it wouldn't surprise me if that was a question that people asked, if Mercedes was going to be making more or wanted to make more. What Mercedes number is, try and gauge the interest on that. I don't know.
It's kind of
maybe.
gross the way people responded to that story.
Yes.
Some people.
It was quite amazing. I read the story and then was told the response, and then saw some of the response and was pretty stunned. Actually, I didn't think the wording of the report was that like insane. I actually thought it was like totally feasible and understandable. But what do I know?
Necessarily, I don't think the wording and stuff was, or the framing and everything. I didn't think it was that bad. It's just like the number that Mercedes Moné is asking for is higher than the number that Charlotte just got for her deal, which is also said to be one of the biggest in.
For sure. I think the report was just trying to give context on like range. But with the way that works with social is like it just immediately encourages like the comparison. So then one side is like propping one up to pull the other down and vice versa. And it's like she just wants to get paid, I don't think it's a Charlotte Flair thing for Mercedes. She just wants to get paid. It's kind of lame how those things go. But I don't know, leaked it. I'm sure I got a feeling she's going to get paid pretty good after all. So
yeah,
good for her.
Scott 279, appreciate it. Riddle fighting the bloodline even out of WWE. I guess Will Chisholm $5, appreciate you as always. So Matt Riddle at MLW, it's only Dolph or Mercedes, but do TNA have Charlotte Flair money long? I've said for a while, I think that the TNA Mercedes is just it's a wild dream, I don't think that one's happening, to be honest.
I will say, it does sound like they are pretty willing to get a little bit nuts with the spending.
Yeah, Dave Meltzer said on Observer Radio, I think it was, like apparently they've put some funds aside, to sign one of these big free agents.
Right.
So, but I do think Mercedes is like the most expensive one, probably. Like you could probably get Okada for cheaper than, like definitely, I'd say.
I think the most likely outcome is they're going to really overpay one of the other names.
Dolph.
Feels like it, yeah.
$2 million. Let's fucking go.
Hey, listen, here's what it is. Look, I'll say this for TNA and budget and such. And with love to that talent roster, their roster has been like miles big for years now. They have a 2-hour TV show and they'll go like, I don't know where they're at now, but as of like a year ago, they were like 60 deep. It's like, really doesn't need to be that way, So there's I think there's
people as well.
Yeah, and they're adding. So I don't know. I want TNA to be like a fun. It would be nice if TNA was a part of when we do these shows every week. It would be nice if TNA felt like they were an actual part of the conversation rather than us kind of like treating it as like throwing a bone. Right? Bound for Glory's on. What's the matches? Like, it'd be nice if they're part of the picture. I'm not super optimistic, not even through for their own, just like where the landscape is. But as a fan, I'd love to see them get someone like notable that makes everyone go, whoa, let's have a look at that. I think it'd be great for wrestling. So I'm rooting for them legitimately.
The Will Ospreay Punk combo would have.
That bit went great, by the way. we wheeled that one out in October, and by November, both guys had publicly signed contracts for other companies. Yep. So great job, everyone. Mm-hmm. Thanks for sticking to the plan, folks.
Darren Walker, £5. Appreciate you as always. Riddle versus Fatu in MLW. We are back. I'm sure Rob gets back on MLW train. Charlie, enjoy your Will Ospreay WrestlePurists article, and happy Christmas, everyone. Happy Christmas to you, Darren. Appreciate you all year round, mate. I don't know about the we are back. Rob is a sick man. So
Yes.
he may jump back on the MLW train in 2024. That wouldn't actually shock me, but I can't speak for him. But he's a sick man. And Charlie's Will Ospreay article is very good. You should all go read it.
Yeah, please do. I enjoyed writing it.
Yeah. Riddle versus Fatu will probably be annoyingly good, to be honest, but
yeah,
you get what you get, I suppose.
You could just do what the rest of the world's going to do and not watch it, really.
There you go.
That's true.
I honestly didn't think Riddle was that great towards the end of his WWE run anyway.
No, he wasn't. It was a big drop-off, yeah.
I remember going back and forth with you about it quite a lot in the not the early Triple H regime, you know. And I was just kind of like, I don't need to really like that conversation and get spiteful, you know. Anyway, Andrew the Giant, £5. Appreciate you. As always, oh my God, if the Iron Claw ends like every Dark Side of the Ring episode in Season 3, after this tragedy, all was saved by the Suns, by the Suns wrestling in AEW. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Iron Claw 2 is just going to be just a documentary about FTR versus the Von Erichs on Collision in January 2024 when they go an hour. But I don't want to spoil anything for anyone.
Oh, man.
Just imagining my review of that. Finally, we're back.
In Dallas.
Amen.
Yeah, it has to be in Dallas.
In Dallas.
Kevin cries somewhere, you know.
Oh, hell yeah. Get Brett in the other corner. Wrestling Heritage once again, Monty. I'm going back to that again.
Alright, let's well, we're just talking about contracts and free agents and whatnot, and Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné came up, and Charlotte Flair's new deal came up. So I guess it's only right that we talk about Bayley as well. She is the latest to sign a new deal with WWE. So that would be Dom, Rey Mysterio, and now Charlotte Flair. I feel like I'm missing someone. Was there someone else as well?
I'm not sure. I don't know. You're the news merchant, brother.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Anyway,
I didn't
Bayley's
see
the
the
latest.
Mysterio one.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio signed a new deal with WWE, multi-year deal. I think Nick Hausman said it was a 3-year deal.
Oh, the dream's over. Got it.
Yeah, that's got to be his last deal. And he's planning to wrestle throughout that contract as well. So, God bless, you know. God bless Rey Mysterio, man. Wrestling into his 50s.
The next UK house show tour he's on, I will be there. I've got to see him live before he hangs up the boots. He's like one of the only people I've got left to check off my list.
Listen, WWE UK house shows are
they seem like
a vibe, you know.
Yeah, they're cool.
I still
shows
can't.
In general are cool.
I still can't like wrap my head around that. When I walked into that Birmingham live show earlier this year, there was like 10,000 people in there. Like, I remember walking in there expecting about 3,000-4,000 people. I was like, yeah, they're hot at the moment. That's a respectable house show. Walked in there, it was literally full to the brim. I was like, Jesus Christ. Cody Rhodes. But yeah, this coming year, 2024, I'm looking forward to seeing Cody Rhodes with the belt, you know. Hopefully get to see Rey Mysterio, you know. I'd like to see Gunther. That would be very nice.
I would like to see Gunther.
I'd like to see Gunther. Roman Reigns ain't going to do those UK house shows, brother.
Could not care less.
Yeah.
God bless. He's made his money.
He ain't doing no UK house show. But yeah, Randy Orton, Joe.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him It was Rude and Ziggler versus the Street Profits versus RK Bro. And Randy Orton didn't tag in until the very end, did an RKO and waved goodnight. And it was glorious.
I wouldn't have it any other way. You know?
Never been happier to have my money stolen. I was thrilled. Kissed the ground as I walked out. I said, finally, I made it.
Oh,
He was
man.
so over
Good
too.
stuff.
My God.
Imagine.
He's so over, right? Always. So, yeah.
He's great, man. But yeah. Anyway, back on topic. Bailey, new WWE deal. Don't think anyone is particularly surprised. This is another multi-year deal, of course, as expected. First reported by PW Insider, but quickly followed by Fightful Select. So, two of the very, very most reliable news sources in wrestling. I think it's pretty safe to say that that's pretty ironclad as far as scoops go, you know. But yeah, Joe, like I said, not surprising. Charlotte's just signed a new deal. Apparently, hers is a multi-year deal, big money. She's got her own bus, Joe. I don't know if you saw that detail.
Oh, shit.
Becky Lynch recently said that she would happily retire in WWE and she loves it and it's home. So, you know, everyone knows her deal's coming up soon. I don't think anyone would be too surprised if she re-signs in the next month or so, to be honest, or even in the next few weeks. And, you know what that means, Joe Hulbert? There's one horsewoman left, you know.
Aaliyah?
There's a... No. Try again.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Dana. No,
These
I'm
have just
kidding.
left, man.
It is, the timing is very, you're right. Yes, your eyebrows do raise. I can't really raise them very high because I'm wearing this very funny hat right now. But Mercedes Monet's status is definitely, you know, it does feel intriguing that two of the four horsemen have just, their re-signings just become public. Whether it was signed like right, well, I don't know when the deals were signed, but it's been this week, right? The stories have come out. In addition, Becky had that quote, and a lot of us are kind of trending towards a Mercedes return. So it is interesting. They never did, unless I'm mistaken, after the initial NXT one, they never did the four horsemen fall on the main roster, which is peak Vince WWE.
Yeah, it is.
You could literally sit him in front of an open goal and he'd run away from it. But, you know, I think to me, it's pretty clear where that's been trending for a while. We spoke about it, I think, off the air. I don't know, it all blends together. But I started to shift on the Mercedes thing when it became less apparent to me what her entry would be in the AEW division. When Saraya won that belt, the belief was, from people that were pre-connected to the matter, the belief was those two things link, right? And Mercedes wanted to work with Saraya. Since then, we've gone into this Timeless Tony direction, and I think it's very hard to look at that division right now and say there is where Mercedes would slot in. To me, there's not a natural jump point. Whereas with WWE, they're telling a story that feels actively suited to Mercedes coming in alongside Bayley. And even if you don't do that, there's more star power. You can slot her in, you know, to a program with insert name. So it feels like it's going that way. Nonetheless, good for Bayley. She's been obviously been a great soldier for them and battled back from that injury. And I think it's kind of poised for a bit of a kind of comeback year. And I think 2024 might be a pretty good year for Bayley because I think she's going to turn babyface pretty soon here. And I think, even I've talked about it quite a bit, like, I think her in-ring will be greatly helped by that. She'll be able to just sell. You know, I think she'll be better. I think her matches will actually be a lot better. Not to say they've been bad. I just think they'll be better as a babyface. So, yeah, good for Bayley.
Some have, because I just...
So she's been up and down, right?
Being a heel in-ring is like... I don't know, I think even us, like, we kind of underestimate like how hard it is to actually be an engaging heel doing a heat segment. Especially when you're not working with a fucking Eddie Kingston or someone like a babyface who's just going to like interject so much energy into it throughout. And I think there has been times where she has really struggled with that, you know. And yeah, there's been moments as well where she's looked a little, let's just say, not the smoothest she's looked in her career, you know.
Right.
But yeah, I absolutely agree. I do think being a babyface will help her in all aspects, to be honest. Even like a promos and stuff like that. But yeah, Charlie Bailey. It seems like she's getting paid. It seems like she's gearing up for a big 2024, and it's nice to see, ain't it, for Pam? You know.
Yeah, she's been real good for WWE. Like, it feels like she's always game to do whatever they throw at her, even if it's kind of to her detriment sometimes. But yeah, I'm always happy to see wrestlers get paid, and if she's happy to stay at WWE, more power to her. I hope she has a great 2024 and like a really fruitful 2024, and like just gets to do some cool storylines with some cool people. I won't be watching most of it, so I hope I hear good things.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll see. You'll tune in for a decent pay-per-view show with them on it, you know, something like that. Anyways, but yeah, shout out Bailey. Charlotte got a bus, which popped me huge. You know,
That's very real.
Ibi was saying, I think it was yes.
Do we have an official list of who does and doesn't have buses in WWE? Because that's kind of a status thing, you know.
Well, me and Ibi were talking about it yesterday, so I can only kind of reiterate what he's said, and I guess what he's either heard or speculated on. So I'm not sure how accurate all this is, but I believe Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Becky have a bus as well. Sasha had a bus when she was there. Apparently,
he lost the bus. No bus anymore. Had a bus.
She had a bus. And Charlotte's got one now, yeah. So I'm sure Brock probably has one when he comes in. Roman's probably got one.
Yeah.
You know.
He says a tractor or something.
There's a massive shed. Yeah. It's a big barn. But yeah, there's a few people that got their own bus or some sort of transport or whatever to make them, make them extra comfortable on the road, Joel. But,
what a time. Tremendous.
I mean, a lot of people were like, with the merger, like we were just talking literally earlier, mergers and wrestling usually are quite, obviously that is different with it being a television network and not the actual company itself, like this WWE TKO thing is. But, like a lot of people, they kind of fear the worst with these renewals coming up. There was a lot of people doing that. And there was actually one or two, I think, reports, to be honest, saying that, WWE are preparing to throw some money at these renewals. And judging off what we've seen so far, that does seem to be the case, So, yeah, hopefully they can keep it going because I will never complain at wrestlers getting paid because percentage-wise, compared to other sports, they are getting fucked. So,
absolutely, yeah.
It's nice to see. Hopefully Endeavour keeps throwing the money around, It'd be interesting to see what happens with Sheamus and Drew, I think. We'll really see what Endeavour's made of, Joe, Gotta be throwing you gotta be throwing 7 figures at Big Sheamus, Otherwise I gotta question the integrity as a business,
Yeah. I'm not sure you're gonna get that one. We'll see. Hopefully. Hopefully he gets that.
Hope he gets paid, but selfishly, I want to see him have a run outside of WWE.
It would be fun, yeah. He's not really got anything left to do in WWE. If he gets paid, God bless, but it would be fun to see him out and about doing weirdness.
I wouldn't be mad at TK throwing that 7 figures at him either, brother.
I want him in the G1 as well.
Oh, don't think you'll get 7 figures doing that, but
Hey man, Tony can throw the 7 figures and send him off to Japan before he debuts. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
We know you have the money. Put it to good use.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Will Chisholm, £5. Appreciate you as always. I think what hurts TNA is the past 20 years of crazy booking, and also if a talent goes there for 6 months to a year and leave, they to go to WWE or AEW. How old is TNA? 20 years. When did TNA? 02?
02. Yeah.
20 years. So the past 20. You said like the past 20 years, like there was an era before the past 20 years. Like that's the entire life of the promotion. The past 20 years.
They've been nuts since day one. God bless.
So like, what hurts TNA is just simply TNA being TNA. In that case,
I mean, yeah, that's pretty accurate. I mean, that is kind of their identity, right? It's like TNA had some good years, don't be wrong, but there was always like this kind of cloud of insanity surrounding TNA. That's kind of part of the charm. Yeah, and TNA has a very complex legacy, which is a different show for another day. Impact and TNA have been very different in that, like,
Yeah.
Impact has kind of been like a steady thing that's handled like mostly.
Underwhelming.
It's handled like mostly professionally, mostly it's still pro wrestling, but it just doesn't get a lot of buzz. Whereas TNA was like, obviously commercially it was way bigger because it was on a bigger platform, but TNA was unhinged back in the day.
They swung.
Yeah,
They sure did.
yeah.
They swung, brother, in quality and in terms of the metaphor of just swinging big,
Bring
brother.
back Aces and Eights.
Yeah, bring it back. I think it is on
Run it
Dynamite,
back.
to be fair.
Yeah, it is very funny how much I dislike the double stuff because, like, I loved Aces and Eights at the time, but I was also very young, so we'll just ignore that.
Yeah, it was 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. God
Yeah,
bless.
TNA's TNA, brother. It kind of just is what it is.
Gotta
I'm
take
hoping they do create some buzz and can build on it for this TNA, like going back to TNA branding and 2024 in general. Get this big free agent signing that apparently they're trying to sign, and this Dolph Ziggler ace run. It's going to lead us to the promised land.
I still think they should have done their debut TNA show in the UK, and it would have been
Yeah.
a smash hit for them because they were
10K.
easily. I think they could have sold out Wembley Arena easily because, like, people in the UK love nostalgia in their wrestling, so they'll see that TNA graphic, they're just like, okay, yeah, sorted. Like,
we 100% would have fell for it as well. Like 100% would
Absolutely.
have fell for it. Like,
I
we
would have
didn't
bought
have to
tickets
drop the
before a card
card.
if it was
Like,
announced. Like, I would be there.
we're pretty shameless over here,
Yes.
Yeah, Will Chisholm.
Going to Worthing to see Zack Sabre Jr. wrestle in a tiny venue, like, I literally.
Well,
zero.
he is a WrestlePurist wrestler of the in-ring wrestler of the year nominee, Charlie. So,
True.
Sure is. It's
How
going to
often do
be
you
a
get to
very
see one of them?
tiny venue, so it's real graps. It's going to be like 100 people in there. I can't fucking wait.
Wrestling as God intended, to be honest. That's going to be awesome.
Down
Will
by the
Chisholm.
coast. God bless.
$5. I can't prove it, but I bet Bailey is in Mercedes. Ian saying it's cool now, it's safe. Vince is gone, and Johnny Ace is out of here. Oh, I'm sure that the talk still, and they were obviously pretty close friends.
There's no more beast way to start a super chat then. I can't prove it, but
Real.
Start them all like this. Joseph, £2. Appreciate you. I was at the same Brum show. Sold me on Cody as him. That honestly, shamelessly, that is exactly the same reason why I bought a ticket. Cody posted his dates. When he posts his dates.
yes, that does rule. Like he's like a music act doing a tour. It does rule.
And I saw Birmingham, UK, and I was like, I ain't missing this, brother. I bought my ticket straight away. So Cody Rhodes moves tickets to house shows, bro. He's a ticket mover. And I think like the bump in house shows, I think they'll actually get another bump when Cody's actually got the belt, to be honest. I think the WWE audience will come out to see Cody with the belt,
Yeah, probably.
I know I will.
But... I know you will too.
Yeah. I might be there, but not for Cody.
Oh, you keep telling yourself that, Charlie.
I haven't liked Cody since 2018.
Yeah, you keep
telling
yourself that.
It hasn't changed.
He grows on you.
He doesn't. He
Cody
never did.
Wills. Cody Wills, 199. Merry Blissmas to you 3 stars and all the Puries. The Puries. That sounds problematic.
You need to figure this out, man. This is an issue we got right now. We don't know the right term for our loyal viewers.
Just be purists?
Purist is problematic in its own way. That's gross as hell. Purists. Shout out to the purists. Fuck.
I mean, we don't have to say shout out to anyone.
I can rephrase it.
I'll just refer to them as our audience. It's our audience, our friends. A lot of them are regulars in the live chat and the super chats that we recognise, and some of them we go back and forth with on Twitter and stuff. We're a big family, Joe. This is an audience. They're not fans. I know Joe backstage. He always calls them. What do you call? You call them fans and peasants. And
How many marks we got waiting for us, Monty, is what I say. Speaking of such, you can. It's a little late for Christmas, but if you have any birthdays coming up, you can officially order an 8x10. I will sign it. Price is down a little bit. We're at $150 right now. So
my favourite
good,
thing
right,
is
Charlie?
that,
It's pretty
like, if
good.
we actually put that on the store, like, not for $150, but like, if we actually put that on the store, like, some sick cunt would buy it, you know?
An 8x10 would be.
Absolutely.
Especially
It's a
because it
picture
would
of
be
me
like,
and you from Money in the Bank.
yeah. It would be funnier, and this is the thing: is I'm dumb enough to actually do this as like a bit. Me getting like promotional shots done of like an actual, like as I'm an actual professional wrestler, but instead it's podcasting. It's just me with headphones on, pointing with a microphone, pondering. You know,
Those old 80s professional, those
Yeah.
Bill Apter photographs,
he should be on WrestlePurists. When is he on Worldwide?
Bro, honestly, I'd love to talk to Bill Apter. Like,
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
I love him so much. Like, he's
Bless him, legend.
yeah. If you don't like Bill Apter, if you're a wrestling fan who's aware who he is, because I know he's not exactly like he's not in the eye of the wrestling fan as often as he used to be. It's a different time, brother. But if you are aware of who Bill
lost
Apter
on
is,
me.
Yeah.
so if you're aware of who Bill Apter is, then you most probably have a very big soft spot for him. He's awesome, man. He's just got that charm, But yeah, I'd love to have Bill Apter on. Him and Joe Hulbert chopping it up, He'd be talking over him. Let's get him on Worldwide. I'm gonna work on it.
Very fun.
We still need to work on the
Just
New Japan commentator.
Make sure Manny's not on the show because they might get into that one topic you don't want them to get into,
I think there's more than one, but fair.
Yeah.
You kind of lost me there, but yeah.
Someone in the chat will know I'm referencing, and we'll move on to the AEW Dynamite review. Carry on, Money.
We won't actually. We've got 2 more super chats, mate. Will Chisholm, $5. The Creed brothers marking out over Cody, calling him the GOAT kind of pop, man. New Nightmare faction. It was very good. He was fucking beast.
I like the Creeds a lot.
Did you see the clip, Joe?
No, I did not. It's Christmas this week, man.
I know, but it's just sometimes like when there's something like hilarious as this, it usually makes its way onto Twitter, and it might caught your eye. It's my assumption there. Cody Rhodes in the back greeting the the young up and coming tag team of the Raw division. He wishes them luck in the tag title match and shakes the hand or whatever he does in his Cody Rhodes fashion, like a political candidate, presidential candidate, should I say. And they get geeked out. They're like, "Oh my god, that's Cody Rhodes! Like, that's why he's the goal. That's why he's the goal." It was good shit. Broken 199. Big AO scared by the devil. I mean, he's scared by his boss calling him for work. I mean,
maybe he is the devil.
Or AO's boss.
Or AO himself. I'm not here to allege anything. I just think it's interesting. As the allegations heat up, AO is nowhere to be found, unfortunately.
Darren Walker, £5. Need Bill Apter at the media scrums log when at the Triple H scrum with his Austin Theory question.
That ruled, yeah.
Yeah, man. And he chat because he's too old. He's done what he needs to do in this game, and it's like he's not just going to sit there and take the answer like he did, like evidently when he went back and forth about the United States Championship not being defended on pay-per-view. So, big fan of Bill Apter, man. Like I said, we'd love to have him on the channel somehow, somewhere. Actually, honestly, just to actually talk to him more than anything, but. Anyway, now, Joe, we're going to the AEW Dynamite review, which I'm sure you're absolutely ecstatic about. Oklahoma, your favourite city, Joe. I'm sure you've been there a few times. Continental Classic. Yeah, it's getting to the final stages. This was the final league games of the Gold League, and then obviously now we've got the Gold League final, which is a knockout, so it's not technically a league game, you know. But yeah, the last of the league games in the Gold League, and we got straight into it. Didn't even have the normal, you know, pyro start to AEW Dynamite. It's just straight into Swerve's entrance, and yeah, Swerve versus Rouge. Rouge pops me quite a lot in this, just going like traditional baby face, like, you know, doing a lot of selling the leg. Swerve, you know, I guess it kind of allowed him to, you know, go into the role of doing his heel stuff, you know, which I think he should be doing. I know a lot of people are kind of worried about Swerve, you know, getting as much cheers as he does and as much as a babyface reaction as he sometimes can get. But I think it's just all about the opposition you put him against. Obviously, Roosh is going to be kind of like an interesting dynamic because obviously he's not usually your traditional babyface, but Roosh's effort did pop me quite a lot. I thought, you know, Swerve looked good again. It was a nice opener, Joe. What did you think?
Yeah, I liked it. It was a good match. Both guys kind of, you know, made sacrifices stylistically to kind of meet in the middle, right? Like, I think it's kind of a little bit of a challenging matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they navigated that really well. And even when there was like slight lack of chemistry on display, it almost helped the match because there was like physicality and a little bit of a clunkiness, which I think there's room for. I'm torn on the Swerve babyface heel thing because we all think he should be a heel, but in this particular case, he probably would have been better served wrestling babyface just because he was so over. They probably couldn't have foreseen just how over he'd be in this building, right? Like, he's over every week, but my goodness, he was like the most over guy on the show here. So that probably would have, I think, it actually improved the match if he'd have kind of leaned into that. But nonetheless, they had a good one. I think it was the weakest of this week's classic matches. But that says more about the other two Continental Classic matches, right? And that's kind of been a trend throughout. The Gold League has kind of lived in this like good to very good range almost throughout the entire thing, honestly. And this week was no different. This was a good professional wrestling match. I liked it.
Yeah, there was, like I said, nice opener. You enjoy it, Charlie?
I did, of course I did. Two of my favourite wrestlers going at it. They were bumping like crazy.
Yeah.
Like, with the crowd reactions they were getting, they could have like sleepwalked this match and probably like impressed the crowd no matter what. But they put a lot of effort into it, and that Swerve bump on the apron, like where he went down on his shoulder that was taped up, looked fucking nasty. But I enjoyed it a lot. Like, I agree with Joe. I think it was the weakest of the three on the show, but again, the other two were just so good that like it's not a knock on the talent at all. Like, I enjoyed it a lot though. Great guys. I hope they have another match in the future that they get not necessarily more time for, but maybe a gimmick match. I feel like a plunder match between these two could be pretty fucking good.
Yeah. This is the kind of matchup that will be unlocked by like a feud or a conflict. Mm-hmm. It's not really suited to just being an exhibition. So for what it was, I think they did it rather well, to be honest. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it was a real nice start to the show. Of course, I liked how they kind of just went straight into it as well. And yeah, Swerve got 3 points here. He got the win and qualified for the final in the process. We've got a couple of super chats. Want to get them read out. Keep them coming as we do the review. People, Mazfan84 199, appreciate it. AEW needs to compile all the C2 promos in one video.
Please do. It'd make my job of finishing the speech a lot easier.
I think it would be better instead of just one video. It would be like each person's in one video.
Their journey.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Instead of just like a bunch of random promos. You know what I mean? But they have all been very good, and I like, I guess, the skeleton of the idea. You know, Matt K, £2, appreciate you. Merry Christmas, Dax, the big hard axe. Agreed.
Sure.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. All right, back to AEW Dynamite, Continental Classic, Blue League promo package. This was just pretty much your standard Blue League promo package. And then we get Chris Jericho in a backstage, not promo, more like a message. You know, he of course goes over like Kenny Omega being diagnosed with diverticulitis and kind of going through that and sending him his best well wishes. He said that his health comes first. The crowd reacted to it. They started Kenny chants, which is nice to hear. And I think it goes without saying that all of the AEW universe, they're all massively behind Kenny. It's Kenny Omega, man. There's a really sincere love for the guy, and it's cool to see the fans kind of react like this for him, and kind of everyone's wishing Kenny Omega the best, of course. Hopefully he comes back really soon, because like I said before, the diverticulitis really varies. Like, he literally could be back in, like, I don't know, I don't want to, I'm no doctor, but like literally like a few weeks, a month or something, or it could be something where he's out for like the better part of a year or something, So hopefully he's back really soon. And I thought this was a nice touch, Jericho said the Golden Jets are going to be picking back up where they left off, which was, of course, Jericho had to slip that in there, But overall, this was a nice message,
Yeah, very much. Reaction was nice too. This was nicely handled, I thought.
It was, wasn't it, Charlie?
Yeah, I feel like this is the best way they could have approached this subject. I'm glad that they did do it on the Dynamite as well, and they let Jericho be the one to send the message, because it makes sense. Obviously, they were just about to do this tag run or whatever. But yeah, short and sweet. Hope Kenny gets better soon.
Yeah, man. Best wishes to Kenny Omega from the WrestlePurists family and audience. Mark Briscoe versus Jay Lethal. Just, it's two pals, they know each other's tricks, Joe Hall, but they know each other's weaknesses, Charlie. And they both were on 0 points here, fighting for this professional pride, not wanting to get outdone by the friend, bragging rights, whatever you want to call it. This was Jay Lethal's best match at the tournament, I thought. Mark Briscoe has been pretty remarkable when it comes to like just the level he's been able to maintain, even in losing 4 out of 5 of his matches, or however many it is. And I love this. I really did love it. It's probably my favourite match on the show, to be honest. I just loved it. I love that kind of dynamic of like friends fighting, but like not in like kind of like a heated, like spiteful way, but in a more of a we're bringing the best out of each other, don't hold back on me kind of way. I love that dynamic in wrestling, and I thought those two captured that really well here. Charlie, did you like it?
I did. This was a really good match. I love party atmosphere in matches, and like the fact that they lent into. I don't know why the crowd wanted chairs. It was a nice change of pace from the tables.
Mark just decided to pick one up and throw it in the ring, and it just started them off, man.
Yeah, it was very funny. And then they worked out how to use it in the match. I don't know how much of this they were calling, how much of it was planned, but this match was fucking awesome, and genuinely was probably my favourite match of the night as well. Which is crazy, because I've been very vocal in how little I like Jay Lethal. But yeah, he really impressed me last night. You put him in there with someone that he's pals with in front of a hot crowd and make a little bit of magic.
Yeah, there was a little bit of magic to this, wasn't there, Joe Hall? But
yeah, there was. I think we're in the same spot in terms of this dynamic is, there's something to this, right? There's something kind of warm to this dynamic, and these two in particular, because for them, while this is kind of just a nothing match on TV for like a lot of the audience, because they're both on 0 points, they've wrestled on such smaller stages. They're never going to like treat you that way. And you see that, and like also the experience to play with that chair thing, like he threw it in and the crowd got into it. So they basically just did an ad break of that. And it actually heated the crowd up because they just went with it rather than going against the grain. Imagine that, right? There's something to be said for that. But Mark Briscoe is one of the best babyfaces in wrestling. He's the MVP, I think. Now that we can kind of put a bar on it, I think he's the MVP of the Gold League. I actually think, like, kind of comfortably, which is crazy, but I honestly think that's the case. And Lethal had a hell of a showing here too. Chemistry, their chemistry is great. And the one thing I would say is, like, I was kind of hesitant on the idea of them wrestling again after the match they had in January, because to me it's like, how do you possibly top that, right? I mean, that match was special for obvious reasons. But this was like a really worthy sequel, and I didn't see that
Yeah.
coming necessarily, especially considering there was no stakes. So they killed it. Mark Briscoe, man. We need that Christian Cage feud that he mentioned at the presser. We need that so bad. I honestly don't like. If you give those guys like 20, 25 minutes on a Collision, I say Collision because of course, but just on a TV show, it doesn't matter. I think they could have like a legitimate classic. Sprinkle a little blood in there. Yeah. I think we need to get Mark one of these mid-card belts next year.
International.
I think he just needs something significant, and I think that will then catapult him into something. I don't even think the AEW themselves realise what he can be. I guess we'll see coming out of his tournament. I hope him being as good, because I agree with you. I think he's had the best collection of matches in the Gold League pretty comfortably. To be honest, he'd be my MVP as well. I hope that isn't just something that we talk about in a couple months' time. Like, remember that,
Yeah.
Right.
It should be something where it's like, he goes into a couple feuds now or whatever,
I think, I don't know how they would get here, but babyface Mark Briscoe against heel Hangman is like his first feud that isn't Swerve. Could be something special on AEW.
My God, that'd be very physical. A lot of blood, I think. I'm in.
Everything's very physical with Mark Briscoe.
It is, yeah.
Yes.
His hands are like
shovels.
Just big fan of Mark
Lethal
Briscoe.
loves doing the flare thing too, where they will go corner to corner with chops. It's like the coolest thing he does. And when he does it with Mark Briscoe, God almighty, they were whacking each other. My goodness. The sound it was making in that building was outrageous.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Mark Briscoe gets his first 3 points, and the last 3 points he'll be getting because, of course, both men are eliminated at this point now. But Mark Briscoe's not going outside on 0. Jay Lethal is, and I guess he's gonna have to, look around at his the friends he surrounds himself with. Maybe we interestingly get a babyface Jay Lethal run coming soon. I don't know. But it seems like they have kind of played with teasing that, so
yeah, they're going to do that. I think his matches are actually better that way.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know who could possibly care, but I mean,
the
Jarrett thing run its course, didn't it? Let's be honest. The Jarrett team run its course. They got the Acclaim feud was genuinely good TV. Everything beyond that was like, well, we know what it was. It's very unfortunate.
I think there could be a pretty good place for him as like the veteran babyface in Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is like very synonymous with Ring of Honor, isn't he?
Yeah.
And we've always remained, regardless of our opinions of him, we've always remained that he's like a very solid in-ring worker. He knows what he's doing in there. And as we've just agreed on, that he's better as a babyface as well. So if you are going to find a spot for him, I think that would actually be pretty fitting for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I think if it's going to be on AEW TV, I think you need to find something different, whether it is, if he's going to be a babyface, do you pair him with someone? I know they teased, do you remember they teased Ortiz being tied to, do you remember this? Team TNA wanted Ortiz to be on their team?
I have no recollection of this.
I promise it happened. It definitely happened. It's not something I'm making up.
I don't doubt it. I just tune the segments out sometimes.
What if you give Ortiz and Lethal some run as a babyface tag?
That would work. No, I think that could work. Yeah.
Ortiz has some personality and can he's not as mechanically good as Jay, but he can give it a bit colour,
Mm-hmm.
Got some energy.
Good hot
tag. I think it's something to explore.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Joe Hulbert. I think you're right, mate. But yeah, Mark Briscoe, big fan. What else we got? Wardlow vignette. Wardlow being very mean about MJF again. He's very angry about MJF. I'm quite angry about his haircut.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with.
Charlie, you can speak on this better.
Mm-hmm.
Is this hot or not? No.
What is it? He is not appealing to the female gaze that he's trying to, and it's very, very unfortunate.
It has to be said that there was a lot going on here in terms of haircut whiplash, because we went from Wardlow to the big man, who has got one of the most insane skulls that any. I can't fathom what
Abdullah the
Joe's-
Butcher.
Dude, what the fuck? He's insane. That dude's head. It's
He's
like
a beast, you know. He's a
There's
beast.
like
He's
eight
not your typical normal man, you know. There's a lot. He's got like 3 crowns.
it's nuts, dude.
I'm a big fan though.
I think it's awesome. It's just beast. I'm just imagining his barber, and it must be a long shift, you know.
Getting in all those crevices.
It's a lot going on, bro. The big man always looks well, you know. He's Hollywood now, so I mean, I say it all with love. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious looking at the screen. I'm a big fan, but it's just saying you just kind of look at it and go, I need to pause this and really get a read on what's going on up there, you know.
Yeah, for those that don't know, he's gone for the short hair look, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Getting ready
it's
for
a bit
that
thin
championship
towards the front as well, you know. It's
But then on
on.
the sides, it's like, it's just, I'm telling you, there's a documentary made about this. I mean, there's a lot going on. But nonetheless, Wardlow's promo was okay, and his hair was funny.
Right.
And Joe came out as we were getting to. I apologize, but that was next, right, Joe?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure they legitimately just run back a segment I reviewed 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
I think this one was worse.
Yes.
Maybe. Yeah. And the devil. We don't know who it is. Charlie, your faults.
But do I have to? This was really unfortunate. I did not enjoy it, which probably comes as a shock to no one. I'm just so over this devil stuff. Like, what they have done is rerun an idea they ran earlier in the feud where they set up for this tag match, and it's just like, are you a hero, Max? That is the same line that they used in the previous, like, on-screen little text bubble shit, which is okay. I know I talked about aces and eights earlier, but this is not what I want in my wrestling, I promise.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe got a good promo though. Good
He
talk,
always does.
Joe's-
He's very good at kind of doing his best to try and salvage horseshit, you know.
Here's the thing that annoys me about this is, like, I do think there's an audience for this kind of, like, wrestling whodunit. I don't think it's well done necessarily, but I do think there is some interest in who it is. I honestly don't have any at this point, but
Yeah,
I do
definitely,
believe there is some. The thing that I do not like at all, though, is that MJF Samoa Joe for the world title feels so secondary to the rest of this.
Yep.
And that is such a crying shame, because their first match actually warranted a pay-per-view ring match because it was awesome. And these two can have great promo segments. They had a really good match at Offer Ash. And so it's like, whether you like or dislike the devil stuff, that's fine. It's subjective, obviously. But I think one thing we can all agree on is they could be doing a way better job of framing. There's actually a big time pay-per-view match coming up, rather than we have 8 problems here. And by the way, on December 30th, we're going to have a wrestling match. It's just, I think it's a real shame. And that's what's kind of more frustrating for me. And I think that's one of the issues we've had with Max's reign over this last couple of months, is how unfocused it feels.
Yeah.
It's not that it's short on good ideas. There are just so many ideas, and it needs someone to figure out which one should be prioritized. Now, the best way to capture this issue is that next week is the go-home show, and they're going to be having a tag match with 2 master blokes, when they should be cutting a money promo, selling the people on why we need to see them wrestle, you know? And I think that's to me, that's the issue for me personally. I think it's a waste of what could be like a continuation of what was a really fun little feud they had in September. So it's a shame, man.
Yeah, I think the best way you put it was kind of like the focus has been all over the place.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. Because like you said, next week, it's like you could say, you know, wow, there is one Dynamite to try and cut that killer, you know, promo and sell some pay-per-views for the main event. But they're going to be doing this tag match, and Maybe that'll move some people. Maybe it won't. Maybe it's horseshit. Maybe it's great. Who knows? We don't know yet. But it's not really going to do too much for the build of Samoa Joe versus MJF in terms of unless there's some horseshit, you know. It's like,
Yeah, unless the finish is like, but even then it would be, yeah, I don't know, man. There's a part of me that like respects the attempt because I do think a lot of the things we love about AEW, as awesome as they are, there is always room for variety. And I do think there's something to be said for trying these angles but this particular angle is like increasingly familiar to things that weren't really very successful. When did the Masked Men appear? September? Or
it's been
October?
a while. I think that's a big problem with it as well because it's like it's a continuation of the Bro Chacho story, which was already kind of. It felt like it peaked at All In, you know.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know, so even like the idea of that continuing on was a little bit tired to some people already, and that's on top of the people that were immediately just dismissive of it, which was quite a few people because of what the sort of genre of wrestling they were going for with it. So now this has been going ever since September when Adam Cole blew up his ankle, you know, and here we are.
It's also the world title program, and that hurts too. You know, if this was something if this was variety that was coming from some kind of like upper mid card feud, that would be different to what it is, which is the world title. It's just, there's a bunch of different issues here, and it's a shame because I do think, again, the idea is like, the idea is
shout out to
there's something to it. Also, in fairness to the talent, the production is not really
fantastic.
You got to know your limitations of some of this stuff, you know? Some of the stuff is so poorly done in that regard.
Yeah.
Assuming that Max and Joe do lose next week, who the hell do you pin?
Well, that's the thing is the finish going to be like
pin Max?
I think you got it.
Fuck you.
This is not a good scenario. This is not a good scenario to be at all, really. If you think,
if I have to pin one of them, I'm picking Max, bro, all day.
Yeah, you have to pick between them. It has to be Max, but that's not good, right? It's like
no, definitely.
You have to.
This isn't good, Joe. This is
unless they have a very specific finish,
which is what
something involving Joe being connected to the devil. If they do something like that, it may make more sense that it's on this go home.
Joe not walking out and just Max out there on his ones gets shit.
They may do that actually. Yeah,
I feel like that might be the best approach.
And then the mystery would be: is Joe? You know what was Joe's, or was it just a case of fuck the tag belts? Yeah. That may be it. And like the people are right in the chat, like Max got pinned in the Jay White build, but that was that didn't do anything either. So I don't know. It sucks. Whatever.
You got pinned by FTR. You got pinned by? Was it that?
Well, there's no shame in that, money.
But getting pinned by a Masked Man, like that's very likely a mid-carder. No offense to whoever's under that mask. But
it's totally a mid-carder. You can say that for sure. It absolutely.
Yeah, it's like
ain't gonna be Sting under that thing. It's gonna be.
Could you imagine? Just a week before the pay-per-view, they just wrap everything, and they just
It's Sting, and he does the Leo. I'm not leaving. He does that one. Fucking Tony Khan trying to make you retire. I'm here forever. Sting is the devil.
Someone said do a DQ, but there's no stipulation that they lose the belts if they do a DQ. Unless I missed that, which is also
no, it's not. It's just will you be a hero, Max? That's the stipulation.
Yeah,
it's a hero, Max. Anyway, super chat, Yuzura Heart. Appreciate you keeping coming. $10. It's unfortunate that the world champion is the worst part of the show. Don't care for these double duty MJF pay-per-view angles. Cole got injured, but that was months ago. Pivot. P.S. I like your hair, Chuck.
Thanks. Yeah, I dyed my hair again. Big news in world of WrestlePurists, I
It's
guess.
big news.
More WrestlePurist lore for Charlie.
Yeah,
We send out a
it's been a
memo every
while.
time. Yeah.
It's been a while. I did have the red for about 3 months, which is, I think, the longest I've had my hair colour since I've been with the WrestlePurists. So.
Long-term storytelling.
Lore, bro, I'm telling you. Yeah, pivot. Well, they did pivot. It's just that the pivot is this. Do you know what I mean? It's like this. Obviously, this wasn't the original plan if Cole was still around. You know. But yeah, the pivot wasn't a good one, unfortunately.
Pivoted the wrong way.
Margaret Thatcher, $4.99. Always an interesting super chat, but we appreciate it. My beloved Joseph, Merry Christmas, my dear. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmasismus, my dear. You've always been like a son to me. Bless you for always supporting my family name. XOXOXO.
I don't celebrate Christmases, so I don't know what that is.
That was a hard one to say.
It really was.
I know I get tongue tied and stuff a lot reading these super chats out, especially with Will Chisholm around. You know, but that was a lot there. $5 from Will Chisholm. With all the ninjas ran down to the ring, I started laughing. How this is more silly than the Tony Storm stuff has shaped my head. That's actually a pretty funny point to make.
It was funny, to be fair.
Yeah, that is. When I'm watching Tony Storm, like, it's ridiculous, and I will actually admittedly like pop a little bit for it sometimes. But like, there's something about this MJF Devil stuff that feels like more ridiculous. You know, like more just. This is ridiculous. You know,
about the tone. Yeah, the tone doesn't work the way they want it to work. And the way they had a bunch of
MJF in the ring selling it, like reading the teleprompter. It's just like, come on, man. You know?
Yeah, it's not good. They had all the guys run out, and then like the real ones came out, and they have like, I noticed this a couple weeks ago, but they have like the devil's face on the back of their tops.
Yeah.
Like, these fucking losers made them these tops to wear. Fucking goons. I will say though, the Tony Storm commentary, we'll get to in a second, but her commentary was incredible on the show.
Yeah.
It was hysterical on this show, so yeah, that's always a positive.
Yeah, there's good and bad wrestling horseshit. You know, you got to find the right balance, I guess. Yeah, MJF Samoa Joe in ring promo angle, devil message, whatnot. Best friends backstage interview. They're with Rocky Romero as well, and Rocky Romero is talking about how he just recently lost his belt in CMLL to Mascara Dorado, and you know, his belt was, his waist was feeling a bit cold. He wants a belt round it again, and Orange Cassidy was like, "Well, let's do it then." Rocky was like, "Well, hold on a minute," you know. But yeah, Orange Cassidy in typical fashion. Any mention of wanting a belt, he'll just fucking give you a total shot, Joe. You just gotta be within a few feet of him, and there you go.
Indeed. This is a pretty enticing matchup, this one, right? So I think this is going to be a hell of a deal. Do we know when was this taped last night for Rampage, or is this coming up on like next week's TV?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yes.
Either way, I'm excited to watch it, and I'm kind of back in a little bit. I didn't have any interest really in Orange being the international champ again, but the Keith match popped me, and there's just from Rocky Romero. So like now I'm coming around on the idea again. You know, like he was doing some interesting matchups. I'm pretty easily pleased in that regard. So yeah, I mean these setups obviously they
take it to other promotions. That is the one thing I want with this damn belt. Yeah, take it around the world.
It was taped last night, yeah. So yeah, I'll be tuning in for that for sure.
Yeah, I do enjoy Rocky Romero's appearances on AEW Rampage. I can't lie. He comes out with his heel music. You know, he's starting to do that now.
Quite a wrestler.
Yeah, man. Do you think we get like Roppongi voice Rocky, or do we think we get CMLL Rocky?
I hope we get CMLL Rocky.
Do you think he's actually? Yeah. Do you think he's actually gonna like wrestle heel? Because like that wasn't the vibe.
He may lean it. Yeah, he may just lean it for the sake of the match, but he's certainly not going to be the absolute arsehole that he is in Arena Mexico. He's a
find.
real
Yeah,
dick, man.
he's very. He can be.
He's very good at
confident.
adapting to a crowd.
Yeah, he can be very confident in thinking he'll figure it out. It is Rocky Romero.
We saw it, man. We see the way he adjusted to the worldwide crowd here on the channel. I mean, he picked it up pretty quick. And I was telling him I told him to slow down a few times, but generally speaking, he followed well. You know.
It's let's get Rocky
Rocky's-
back. Let's get Rocky back in January. I'm gonna.
He should just be on every week, I think.
He's such a blast to watch live at wrestling shows. Like, he's genuinely one of my favorite wrestlers I've seen at an indie show this year. Like, have a match. He's just so
incredible. Fun. Yeah, he's unbelievably good. I think he turned pro in like '98, which is insane. And I genuinely think he's the best he's ever been. And part of that's because of opportunity, but it's also just you can see how calm he is out there. You know, he's so content, silky smooth worker. He's totally at ease and believes in what he can do, and just trusts his instincts. He's only like legitimately. I know I had fun with the worldwide thing, but we learned a lot about the way he has his matches based on what he said about TV wrestling. When he said about how much he hates TV wrestling, it told you, he's one of the few guys who still just goes out there and wrestles, and feels it. When you're doing TV, you've got Bryce yelling 3 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever it may be. It's great. I love watching wrestle because he's a guy who goes on feel. Match he had on the weekend with Dorado was great, by the way.
He's very, very good.
Big fans of Rocky around these parts.
Yep.
We are. But
might have to do a
more people should be.
That'd be a good feature. Yeah. You could do that as like a double part too, because the executive part of his career is almost more notable now, weirdly. There's a lot there for sure.
Absolutely. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, next up, Riho defeats Saraya in a number 1 contenders match for the AEW Women's title with Toni Storm on commentary, having a blast. She can be quite funny on these in these commentary deals, She's the one that pops me, like, the other guys love having her there as well.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Especially during the ad breaks, because we get to listen to it on Fight,
Quickly, before we get into this segment properly, Shelton Benjamin dropped a video 42 minutes ago. We're back.
Did he have a caption with it?
He did. Let me read it. It said,
Big
"Time to get to work."
Oh, hell yeah.
Damn right it is.
We're so bad.
Oh, fuck.
Sorry, I had to get this one in there.
No, it's fine.
We were talking about him earlier.
I've just blind retweeted it on the main channel. So.
He's going to wrestle Leon Slater at York Hall. We're going to have a party at WrestlePurists. Monty's going to fly the whole crew over.
Yes. The biggest WrestlePurists meetup will happen at a Rev Pro show at York Hall. God bless.
Imagine Ibu of WrestlePurists at York Hall.
In York Hall. Nah, it's Crystal Palace now. That's where all their big shows are now, apparently.
I'm never going to go again.
Listen, Joe, if Rev Pro don't want to show York Hall some love, we may have to.
There might be an opening.
We might have to consider some things,
This is just be prepared, folks, because it's going to be June and Monty's going to announce, all in weekend, WrestlePurists live. We're going to do a wrestling show. Everyone's going to get really excited. And then it's going to be first match as booked by at Joe Holbert, Dax Harwood versus Timothy Thatcher, and everyone's going to ask for refunds. And I'm going to be like, fuck, guys, it'll be great. Give them time to work the mat,
How long would you give that?
Balcony.
How long would you give that?
22 minutes. I love Timothy Thatcher.
I unironically think that match would be awesome, but I think there are friends of mine that would actually want to punch me in the face for booking that match. So
yes,
you'll give him 18.
Yeah, I'm purist crew mainly.
18.
Sitting next to Rob while he watches Tim Thatcher grind his elbow into Dax the Axe and look at full faces at York Hall. It's all about variety, I'll let the fellas book whoever they want to book. That's my request. Nonetheless, Riho and Saraya.
Yes.
Toni Storm on commentary.
Toni Storm, which was the headline, really, because the match itself wasn't much. I didn't think it was bad. It just was.
It wasn't. It was, like you said, it just
all right, wasn't it? It was exactly what you'd have expected if I'd have said Saraya and Riho gonna have an 8-minute match on Dynamite, right? Like it was. I think Saraya's like heel shtick is actually like kind of good, but it's total like prelim heel shtick, you know. So yeah, it was all right. And Tony was the show stealer of the commentary. She was really funny. I mean, she was good last week, but I wish she was actually even funnier here. So it was okay.
Human duplex machine.
Yeah. Yes.
So
yeah.
funny.
The way they build the women's title matches is very like
Unfortunate.
Tony just got round to it on his TW save, you know. It's like, oh, fucking commentary, post match running, you know. But at least Tony was good at both pieces of that, at least. So there's that. It was all right.
Mariah May smacked Rio the fuck out with that belt.
Yes, she did.
Like, my God.
Busted her
What the
open,
hell of a
allegedly.
title shot. Yeah. Brutal.
Yeah, Mariah May kind of made, I guess, kind of a save for Tony Storm, and Tony Storm walked around pulling faces, looking confused, and
she kept going, "Who is this woman? Like, she hasn't been walking out with her for weeks. Incredible."
Oh man, her face is a popping me on commentary. You know. She's just quite something at the minute. You know, I'll remain pretty. You know, I'll dig my heels in on it. I still don't think it's quite what I want to see the women's world champion doing. But, you know, in the vacuum as an act, it is, of course, quite entertaining. You know, it's just, oh man, world champion. It's, you know.
Yeah, I get
But if it's something that pops Tony Khan and it's making him give the division and the total focus, then you kind of have to take, you kind of have to take it, don't you? So.
This match will be a big, like, decider for me, in that I actually think if Tony was just straight up wrestling about the time shtick, I think these two would actually tear it up, to be honest. Yeah. And I'm pretty confident that even with the character, Riho will be a really good opponent to kind of, you know, to work that win with. So I think if this match goes, I hope it will. I think I'm going to be kind of in on the. I think there's, you know, she's over, so I think go with it.
Yeah, Riho. Yeah, man, it's cool to see her back in the fold, isn't it, Charlie? Got a total shot. You know, when Riho gets a push or anything in AEW, you're going to get some weird people say things online, which is
very unfortunate.
Which has happened again because it happens every time, Riho. But at the same time, to be fair, a lot of people are willing to pull out the swords and fight in the name of Riho. Yes. So
she's got to be like one of the most defended wrestlers on that roster because like everyone comes together when it's like Riho that's getting under attack by the weirdos on Twitter. So
rightly so.
God bless, because she's incredible. One of the best workers in the division.
It's lame, dude. It's like. It's like you can just not be interested, but it's always framed as like some sort of like objective issue. It's so dumb. You can just say I'm not into Riho. You don't have to be like they made a movie about Saraya. Like what? Oh, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, we love Riho. I think she's very good. A couple of super chats. Manson 84, 199, appreciate you as always. Hear me out. Suzuki Goon to be with Archer, Shelton, and Lesnar. I mean, we can hear you out. It doesn't mean it's going to have any possibility of happening, you know. But
you were doing so well. And then we got to Lesnar. I was like,
God, that would rule. Can you imagine? Brock Lesnar comes to AEW and he just hangs out in a tracksuit with Lance Archer. Real raps.
Pretty fucking beast.
Who do you think Brock would like in AEW? I'm sure I've asked this question before, probably on a worldwide, but
he would like Darby because Darby would he'd give him the easiest match of his entire career.
Yeah.
Would he even wrestle Darby?
I think so, just because it would be so easy, dude. Like he wouldn't have to take a bump in that match. Or if Darby just landed a front drop kick, people would be rocking, you know.
Brock doesn't know. Brock's never seen a Darby out in match.
Yeah, but you get Paul Lee on the blow, don't you? You know, get him on the horn. The Brock Whisperer, Paul Lee dangerously. It'd mostly be the people that he worked with already, right? Dragon, Joe.
He does all those two quite a lot.
Who else is he? Is that it now? I forgot Punk had left, and I was about to go Punk, and I thought, no, that's not the case. Definitely not. The Hangman one, I think, would be fun because there's definitely a chance Hangman would hit him with a lariat that Brock would just say, "Fuck this."
Yeah,
this is bullshit. Wrestling's not real.
Yeah, just punch him in the face like he did to Braun Strowman.
It could catch fire because Hangman, he brings it in that regard, man. That thing would catch fire, I think. If you could convince Brock to play ball, I think Brock and Kenny Omega could have like one of the greatest wrestling matches ever, to be honest. Whether he'd be in on that idea in AEW, I don't know. Because in AEW, he would be an issue. Like, he would take nothing seriously. Like, he would, like, look, Brock's an all-timer, so I don't mean this is a knock on him or anything, but let's be real. He would not be a good boy in AEW. Like, that dude would not be taking orders from TK, I'm sorry to say. No. I'd like to see it as a fan, but like if you could get him like locked in, some of the matches he could have. We were talking about, imagine him having like an 8-minute match with Mark Briscoe. Mark's just selling the whole time, firing away with chops, trying to create space. Like he could have the match with Eddie. Holy fuck. Eddie kind of promo about how this, athletic freak was given a contract at the same time Eddie was breaking into the business, and he just quit the business because he didn't want to try to make the towns, and like being so bitter and resentful. Brock just kind of looking at him like, who the fuck is this guy? There's some incredible matches, but I don't think you'd want to have those matches. So it's kind of, it's whatever.
I mean, with Roosh.
Yeah,
he is like 45 or however.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't mean it as
like someone asked. Someone asked me in EB yesterday in the live chat, like, do you think Tony Khan would spend Roman or Brock money if the opportunity like came up? And it was like, there's not really anyone that could come up now that he could pay that to besides the two names that you mentioned, Roman and Brock. Whereas like Roman, I think is a weird one because I don't think he'd throw the sort of money WWE will because he's just not as valuable to it. Although he would obviously be big for business, but WWE is a different thing when it comes to Roman, I think. But Brock, it's like Brock now, he's in his like mid-40s, but like Brock 10 years ago, Tony Khan probably would have threw like an absurd figure at him,
Yeah. I definitely don't think it's like, it depends what Brock wants to do, right? Like it feels like he's kind of got an eye on retirement to me. In that case, obviously it's not happening. Brock loves money. Like if Tony said he's going to pay him more than WWE, Brock would just work for Tony. He don't give a fuck. He's certainly not going to be sitting there cashing checks on loyalty. So it's always intrigued me. It feels more likely to me now that he's going to just retire in like the next year or so in WWE, but it'll be interesting.
Darren Walker, £5. Appreciate you. Tony Storm, last 2 weeks on Dynamite being best thing on commentary. She's the only crazy character in AEW I like. I mean, I'm not mad at him. Bit of an Abaddon, Will Chisholm, $5. Appreciate you as always. I'd love to see Brock versus Eddie. Eddie cutting his promo and Brock just laughing, being a dick.
Eddie would come out in like the shooter stance, like he does when he wrestles with Dragon or Anthony Henry. And Brock would just shoot a blast double and fucking beat the hell out of him immediately. And the people would come up with Eddie chants and brother. Oh, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Agreed. All right, Tony Schiavone reads Christian Cage's prepared statement, where he basically says, one of the messages that Christian Cage isn't here tonight. He's he took Nick Wayne on a father-son holiday. He will respond to Edge's call out this Saturday on Collision. He also included the line of like telling Tony Schiavone to tell everyone to shut up whilst he conducts his business.
Yeah, and then they played his music too, which was even funnier.
Yeah.
Schiavone, I love when Schiavone gets to do stuff like this. So he has so much fun with it, and the crowd loves it. And it's a cute kind of bridge. This is a neat. It's basically serving the exact same purpose of just throwing up the graphic. But it just gets a little more heat on him, and it's fun. So yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, man. Christian Cage is a lot of fun, isn't he, Charlie?
He is. I don't think this would have worked with any other character on AEW right now. But yeah, it was a fun little segment. Didn't overstay its welcome. Crowd was into it. Can't ask for much more.
Yeah, man. Like you were saying, Joe, Tony Schiavone has like a lot of fun with these things when he has the opportunity to do them. So like sometimes like he would read a line and he'd like pull a face and look up at the crowd for them to boo, you know? Like
Very brutal.
it was nice. It was a nice little segment. But yeah. Next up we had like a backstage segment where like MJF, Samoa Joe, they're going back and forth and talking, and Samoa Joe walked away from MJF, and as MJF is walking down, I don't know, like the corridor or whatever, he sees one of them. He sees one of the black masks on the floor, and then he looks up, and it just so happens to be outside the Mogul Embassy's locker room. So MJF bangs on the door. Prince Nana comes to the door, and he grabs him by the collar, pushes him up against the wall, then Swerve comes out. And the two come face to face for, I believe, is the first time. It's definitely the first time since Swerve has got as hot as he's got and all the momentum that he's got. And this felt like a big deal. They went back and forth and they were kind of just trading shots at each other, but it seems like they were, setting up for something in the future. Yeah, man, like I said, they were going back and forth. MJF was being MJF with his typical kind of lines that he was throwing in there. Swerve kind of held his own pretty well, But yeah, this felt like very much like the Hangman MJF face to face. Like it felt like not a moment, but you know what I mean. Like it felt somewhat important, And this is probably going to be you're foreshadowing something that's probably going to be happening at some point next year, So yeah, man. Don't think Swerve is the devil, with the mask outside his door and stuff. I think that was just kind of, trying to get from point A to point B to get them face to face, But yeah, a lot of people like this Joe Hull. But what did you think of it?
Yeah, I liked it too. Not as much as some did. This got some like crazy reviews that I didn't personally experience. I'll put it that way. I do generally like the play call of like it's very much like early 2000s WWF where you kind of tease or preview something with these face-offs, and honestly they've been doing it recently even with Punk. It's it's familiar. It's not nothing groundbreaking, but I do think it's refreshing in AEW where major characters go so long without interacting ever. Right? It's like they exist in different worlds. I like it as kind of a breakaway from that. The execution here, I thought Max had some hits. I think he had some misses. Swerve, I thought his delivery and demeanor was tremendous. I wasn't a big fan of the line about you did a tryout, us under contract. I just think you should always avoid that stuff. It's like it doesn't really help anyone, right? It's like, yeah, Max didn't get signed by WWE. So the content was like up and down, but that's not really the point of these segments. It's more the charisma and the kind of the way it feels, and it felt like a big deal. And interestingly too, when Joe got involved at the end, they made a point of giving you a Joe Swerve kind of moment there too, right? It was a little bit from a distance, but they certainly made a point of that. So I like it. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was as good as the Hangman one. But I thought it was a good segment, certainly. Good segment.
What did you think, Charlie? Did you get excited? What did you think of the back and forth? What did you think?
I think Swerve looked incredible in this. Like the content sometimes, like it's just I care more about delivery sometimes, unless the content's really fucking bad. And it was alright on both sides. Like Joe said, there was some hits, there was some misses, but they both came off as stars. I think Swerve more so than Max in this segment, which isn't necessarily a knock on Max. He's just been involved in some interesting stuff lately, and Swerve's had an incredible last 8 weeks. Like it's undeniable who's had the better last couple of months in AEW, I think. Okay. But yeah, I do like Joe touched on it. Like they keep bringing Joe into these segments as well. Like And I think it's interesting that they're doing that because they're like giving this idea of, yes, they're teasing this heavily with Max, but Joe's always lurking because that title match is coming up. And it's a good little nuance if you pick up on it. I think they should make a bigger deal of it personally, but
Yeah.
you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, you definitely do, Charlie of WrestlePurists. You definitely do. I struggle quite a bit with the content, to be honest. I kind of struggle with like that part of MJF's game when it's like so clear, like that he's doing right. Me and you are gonna trade bazingas right now, like I do kind of struggle with it, especially when like some of the lines do come off kind of corny. So, but in terms of like the overall package of what this was and what they were trying to achieve with it, I did actually, I liked what they were trying to do here. MJF and Swerve come face to face, and we'll see how that all plays out. Right, Roderick Strong, Roddy back in the ring again, just where we want to see him, and he defeats Commander. And I thought this was a nice little match to keep the show moving along. One of the best end of heartaches of the year, and. Man, I ain't really got a lot to say about this. It's like I said, a nice match to keep the show going, I thought.
Yeah, it was slightly like disjointed at times and a couple weird moments. But then 1 second later, there'll be something incredibly awesome. It would just kind of like going these wild swings. And I appreciate that. There's a charm to that. Roddy was not giving him like the spacing here was wild because Roddy would sometimes jump on him. And other times you have to let Connor do his thing, and sometimes the start was a little long. But the finish, as Charlie was saying, was worth it in itself. So I enjoyed the match. I'm always a fan of, like, especially in this part of the show, just a nice, 8 to 10 minutes? Mm-hmm. It's a nice wrestling match, and I wasn't trying to have a classic. It was just a good wrestling match. And you get Roddy a win, you develop that. So, I thought it was a positive.
Yeah, man. Charlie, you like this? Roddy back in the ring again?
I enjoyed it for what it was. I think Commander, over the last couple of months especially, has improved a fair bit because some of his AEW performances have been a little bit rough, but he's been putting the work in. Clearly, he does a fair bit he was doing a fair bit of indies. I'm not sure if he is now, but yeah, he's put the work in. He looked pretty good against Roddy. And that end of heartache, man. I've watched that clip about 17 times. He went full 360, like nuts. I don't think he'll ever do it that like. Don't get me wrong, it didn't look pretty, but it looked fucking awesome. So
yeah, I'm not sure I've seen anyone take it that way.
No.
Usually, guys will they'll take like a really high rotation, right?
Yeah.
Like they'll bounce through the air. But he didn't bounce. He just did, as you said, it looked insane. It was good. It was definitely good. I think you have 3 TV shows. Like, while we're doing this kind of rebuild for Roddy, I think there's room to give us these like once a week, right? Like, just give us him against one of the guys on the roster, and have like a nice little match. It doesn't have to be anything crazy or expansive. Just a professional wrestling match. It's fun to see Roddy in those once again. It's been a while. He's back.
It is a shame that Darby's out for however long, because that'd be quite the match.
Of course. But yeah, man, Roddy got the win as expected. The Kingdom were handing out MJF is the devil signs to the crowd and sticking them around the ring area and stuff. Renee, after the match, got in the ring with Roddy, giving him a microphone, and was like, "Yo, what's going on with all these signs and stuff?" And Roddy just kind of shouted Samoa a lot. And he says Samoa Joe is his best friend by proxy, and that it's clearly MJF, and it's this and it's that. And Roddy's committed to the bit, brother. He's committed to the bit. He's very committed to the bit.
Unfortunate. Love Roddy though, in ring.
Yeah.
Big fan of the Kingdom. I like the Kingdom as a tag team as well, to be honest. But it's just this storyline. It's a lot,
We're winding down. We're almost there, I think. Almost there.
We are. Okay. Good news for Oklahoma. Oklahoma's biggest legend, Jim Ross, is back. Tony, for those of you who are watching on Fight, I know a lot of our audience are in the US, so probably missed this, but like during the ad break for you guys on the Fight feed, we actually got to see Tony Khan come out, and he's like, what was it like? I want to introduce an Oklahoma legend, the greatest commentator in the history of professional wrestling, and he's like, "Good old JR."
Very awesome.
Jim Ross strolls out there, he gives the crowd a wave, sits at the desk, and Jim Ross was locked in, brother. He was locked in.
Yeah.
He sounded good, man. Like,
He's
sometimes,
sounded in forever.
yeah, man. Like a lot of times, like I know a lot of people kind of are quite, they're not his biggest fans these days. People think he should hang up the mic, or whatever you want to call it. But like, even. Like, he's not in his prime, and sometimes he can seem a bit disinterested or whatever like that. But like, on top of that, his actual voice like sometimes would sound like fucked,
Yeah.
and it would be quite worrying as a fan to like see like JR's voice like breaking on us like this,
Yeah.
But like I said last night, he didn't sound like croaky and kind of like all fucked up like he has sometimes. Like he sounded good, he sounded fresh, sounded like the break done him some good. We know that he had some, he was having some trouble dealing with, because obviously he had skin cancer, and he was like, it was like part of his ankle, and it was like all infected and stuff. And like, even after the cancer was removed, he still had like all the liaison, like, all the scarring and the cut and the blah, blah, blah. And it was causing him some issues. And hopefully, hopefully he's all good now. Hopefully he's all good now. He sounded it last night, Joe.
He did. He sounded really refreshed, and I was really, really pleased by just kind of not only how into he sounded, but also, as you said, he just sounded better. Like, actively, his voice sounded better, right? He just sounded healthier. He immediately went into like unhinged sports comparisons, and he started talking about Mid-South and Cowboy Watts. I mean, he was playing the hits here, and I was thankful for it. And I think, luckily, the match actually really played to his strengths, his remaining strengths, and that's because Jay White is very like kind of psychologically on point. So it gave Jim a kind of route to go down. So this was really, he added a lot to the presentation here. For me personally, as a big fan.
GN. Joe Southern, I love AEW. Popped up because of JR's commentary yesterday.
I will never do that again. It was a Kevin Von Erich impression, and I don't remember doing it.
That's the best bit.
I don't remember doing it to begin with, but I think it was on.
I remember it.
Apparently, it was on the Ring of Honor show I did, which was like 8 a.m. or whatever the fuck it was. So I'm not ever doing it again, but it was pretty funny. I think didn't sound like Kevin Von Erich, but it was good for meme purposes.
Clip,
Yeah. I'm very clippable these days, hot property in the meme market.
Apparently so. But all right, so Jim Ross was actually commentating. Let's talk about the match he was actually commentating on, which is the main event, the last Gold League match. Jay White versus John Moxley. Jay White actually got the win here, making a three-way tie at the top of the Gold League, meaning that we're going to get a three-way match in the Gold League final to determine who he's going to go forwards towards end in the actual final against the winner of the Blue League, which we're going to find out also next week after the last league matches this Saturday. But yeah, this is a good match. Moxley just came up, because the thing is with Jay White, like, I think he's best in matches where you can be as expansive as he wants to be and build matches the way he wants to build them, And sometimes when he hasn't quite got the time to do that, his matches can suffer because of it. I think that has genuinely been one of the issues he's had with converting to weekly TV wrestling, although I still have enjoyed his matches, but to an extent, But I think with the fire that Mox started this match with, jumping on him straight away, I thought that actually helped their dynamic and actually quite quickly killed some of the worries that I was having for this match. I quite like this a lot. Jay White got the win. Another good match on an AEW Dynamite for the Continental Classic. Good stuff. What did you think, Charlie?
pretty high note to end the Gold League on, like the block round, anyways. Jay and Mox just have great chemistry. Anyone that watched their 2019 G1 match knows this. And I'm glad that they were able to have a match that worked on TV, like to the extent that it did. I was interested in Jay winning, and I'm curious where this is going story wise, because why have him win if he's not coming out of the triple threat winning, right? Like, I think that's quite an interesting dynamic for them. But yeah, love the match. These guys are great. Would love to see them have an extended program next year. I say that about a lot of people, but here we are.
Yeah.
AEW's got a lot of good talent.
They do. Absolutely. Need more extended programs, honestly, right?
Yeah.
It's just I thought this came out really nicely. I haven't loved either guy's tournament, to be honest. I think Jay has mostly been where we thought he'd be. It's just, his style, as you mentioned, Monty, I think was a fair point. Moxley, I think Moxley's floor is still good professional wrestling matches. I think he's managed that pretty much every week. But I don't think he's had one that's broken. I think this came the closest, maybe the Mark match. This I would say is maybe my favorite for him. I'm not sure I have to compare again, but the reason I think for that was Jay was able to kind of focus in the match where Moxley can be a little bit vague in the middle, right? And kind of with the work on the leg and so on and so forth. They have obviously a much bigger and more expansive one in them, as we've all kind of alluded to. But I did think it went nicely, and Jay White is great at details as a heel. So when he does have some time here against the top guy, it is kind of nice to see him kind of show some of those off. I will say the finish was like weirdly disconnected from the rest of the match, I thought.
It felt like the ref was trying to tell them they only had a minute or two left, and they weren't listening until they literally had to, and they just did a reversal from the paradigm shift into a Blade Runner,
Yeah.
So,
and a part of me popped for like he and was moving pinned him. It kind of stunned people a little bit. But after they worked such a focused match on the leg, it did feel like there was room to do something more like
100%
deliberate and specific. But that's just one thing. Like, I thought the match really came out well, especially when I rewatched it. I liked it quite a lot. So as Charlie said, a good note to end the kind of league matches on for the gold guys. The gold guys.
Yeah, and I agree that I also kind of like the sudden, the finish can happen at any time. Like, especially with Jay White's Blade Runner, because like in New Japan as well, like that was like that was probably like one of the strongest. It's probably the strongest finisher in New Japan. When Jay hits that Blade Runner successfully, usually like that's it's a wrap. So, but yeah, it definitely did feel a little disjointed. Yeah, man, John Moxley, Jay White, and Swerve Strickland going to a freeway. Who we got? Who have we got? Because I don't think it's super obvious, to be honest.
I think Mox gets his win back on Jay immediately, to be honest. I think it's Mox. But I've been very bullish on Mox and Eddie throughout, so I've got to stick to Mox on that,
Yeah, Eddie's still alive, isn't he? Eddie's still alive. They're all alive except for Garcia, aren't they?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
I do not understand the maths in the Blue League. Like, it's very confusing to look at because everyone's just got like 9 or 6 points. I'm like, all right, someone's making it.
I'll break it down. Actually, no, because I haven't got it in front of me.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
No, if I had it in front of me, I would be able to do it, I'm telling you.
There could be a 5-way tie.
I've watched
Still an elimination match.
Too many Champions League group stages and stuff.
Yeah,
but in the Champions League, if 3 teams are on the same amount of points, they don't do a triple threat. They have to have a way to figure out the difference. I love that.
Yeah, I know. And it goes to things like goals for, goals against.
What would you like to see them do? What would be a good thing for them to do in that regard? Would it be like match time? Like whoever wins quicker, that's like a thing you defer to there. Because I do think, like, while I'm fine with them doing a triple threat, it does feel like in kayfabe there should be like a more specific ruling,
Yeah.
There's a genuine, like, it won't happen obviously because wrestling isn't real, breaking news, but there could be a 5-way coming out of the blue block. It seems kind of silly,
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because I
Even
know,
a
I know that
diehard like
they.
Charlie gets confused with the standards, but we get cooked if we say the standards are confusing. They're not. I just haven't paid enough attention to it. Like, and I've been ill, but there's just a lot of people on the same amount of points with the Blue League.
It'll be fine.
Well,
It's
you've
not
got a
real,
couple
so they'll give
sixes
us
and a
something.
couple nines. So it's like if the
Yeah.
sixes beat the nines, then it's like it depends on because the only actual like different like the only factor that like separates the people if they are on the same points is if you have a win over the person that you have the
Right.
same amount of points with. But like you said, Joe, there probably needs to be something that also goes beyond that. So like I was just saying, like in football, it goes to goal difference, and then after goal difference, it goes to goal scored, and then I
Right.
think after that, it goes to something else. And you know what I mean? Like there's like
Yeah.
3 or
I
4
just-
hurdles until you're like completely stuck, and
Yeah. I just think it would be a shame if, like, to be clear, I have no problem with triple threat, but I just think it would be a shame if that became like a crutch they had like every year, like, oh, we'll do a 4-way. Like, I don't want it to be that,
Yeah, neither do
it's
I.
fine. I get what they're going for, and I think they don't want to pin Swerve while having Moxley go through again. So that was it
Yeah.
for Swerve's taking forwards. But it's something to keep in mind. I think we all have loved the tournament, but like it's the first one. There's things, and also you're gonna have more points to play with next year because there'll be more people in it. I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah.
I hope
it'll be
so.
interesting.
I
Yeah,
hope they
me
do
too.
expand it a bit and make it.
Mhm.
And I hope they I'll say it with every tournament until they do it one day, but I do hope that the kind of like presentation was to make it feel like
Yeah.
C2 season,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it for every tournament, and I haven't got it yet, but I'll keep trying. I'll keep putting in more requests, But yeah, the Gold League MVPs, me and Joe, I think we've already
Mark Briscoe.
said ours. Mark Briscoe, Charlie, Mark Briscoe. Clean
Easy.
sweep for Mark Briscoe. Going 1-5. How many is in each block? 5 or 6 people?
6. So he's one.
6
He went
people,
1
so
and
he
4.
went 1-5, and he's
Yeah.
best in the block, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares about
that's
wins and losses? Listen, it's his rookie year. So
It is. Yeah,
As
it
a
is his
single,
rookie year. So
he's just a kid.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's just
Just a
Can't let
young
him have
pup
that
finding
moment.
his way. Yeah.
he definitely hasn't been fucking wrestling at an insane level of effort, pace, taking
Doesn't look
bumps
like it. So
for the past 20
he
years.
still does the cactus elbow, man. It's fucking insane.
I think he's mastered it in the sense of like, I don't know, man. It looks like he doesn't take as much impact on his hip as he should because of the way he lands his elbow on the person he's delivering it to.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's mastered it, John. I just think he's a wizard.
Right.
He's a wizard.
I'd imagine it just really hurts, but he's tough. Honestly, but I could realize.
Oh man, you
He
heard
definitely
about that?
doesn't-
You heard about the locker room IQ test? Mark Briscoe.
True.
He's a smart man, brother.
It definitely isn't as Mick used to take it worse. I think that's pretty visibly clear. The way Mick did it was disgusting.
Mick just kind of did it. There was no like, what's the word, sleight
He
of
was always
hand or
built
anything. Like there was
differently
no
and-
magic to it. He just did it.
They just went for it.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a good wrestler, Mick Foley.
Yeah.
Big Christmas guy, Mick Foley, big Christmas guy. He should have been on the show
Yes.
tonight.
Replacing AO.
Yeah.
Big Foley, big Christmas tree behind him. Reviewing Dynamite. Continental
Real.
Classic graphic in front of him.
Sounds real gross.
Guys, Johnny, 199. Appreciate it. Y'all still interested in the Keith Lee versus Swerve? No, I think they should cancel it.
I don't think they should do it.
I need Keith to have a really good showing against Brian Cage. He needs to have a really good show.
When I went to Revolution in like March, the live Rampage, there was Swerve and Parker Boudreaux against Keith Lee and Dustin Rhodes. This was March, and we've just circled back.
See the Ringside News report.
I remember that too. No, I did not. What was the?
It's ringside news, and it's all like it's whatever. But like, they reported like Parker Boudreaux's like getting ready for a return, and he's been out because he's injured. Get ready, folks.
Ay.
I look forward to, I guess.
You look like it visibly pains you.
He's gonna be Ziggler's heater when he comes in.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no.
That was unnecessary. That was
disgusting.
Especially at Christmas.
Charlie just killed the Christmas spirit to end the podcast, you know.
I'm good with that. Could have mentioned David Finlay training with Natalia. Could have brought that one up.
That's definitely not as bad as what you just.
Oh,
Yeah,
it is. That's not.
Brogan Finlay was there as well.
That's immoral.
Generational wrestlers.
Natalia's respected in this business by her peers, you know.
A lot of people are respected by their peers in professional wrestling. It doesn't mean I have to be on board with that.
Didn't say you have to, mate.
Imagine the match Natalia would construct with David Finlay. Jesus Christ. Nonetheless, while we're talking about Finlay, Grin Grappler next month is about Fit Finlay. So anyone who's been waiting, very excited. Oracle and I are plotting his next lineup. Very excited.
I appreciate that late night Grin audience, you know, because like
it's pretty good.
They do, for those that don't know, over on the WrestlePurists side of this beautiful brotherhood we have with the late night Grin. They do this thing called the Grin Grappler where they'll pick, you know, I think, isn't it wrestlers whose birthday is that month or something?
Yes,
like it'll be like a random selection of wrestlers from all different like generations and stuff. And they'll ask the audience, who do you want us to do a deep dive on? And they'll do a deep dive, and it'll be like, what, the best 3-5 matches from different periods of the career.
Mm-hmm,
and they'll basically do a deep dive on their career and talk grabs. It's a beautiful show, you know?
Yeah.
But when you do the poll, and you have like the 4 or 5 names of who it is, the person who, like, if you just put it on Twitter or something, you know, if you just put it like, say if it was a WrestlePurist or like one of the really big like WrestleOps or someone like that, if they just put it would be a completely different answer. Like it's never the obvious answer. Is my long-winded way of saying.
Oh, I appreciate it. I mean, Fit's going to be. He's one of Oracle's all-time favorites, and he's already getting to work on the lineup. And there's an 18-minute TV match with Ray that we're doing that I'm really excited to watch. There's a match with Jericho. Him and Jericho only had 2 singles matches in their whole career. One in 98, and they had one in 2009 on Superstars. And they got 13 minutes for this match. And you just know the agents didn't even look at that, and they just let them go there and grapple. So I'm excited to cover Fit for sure.
I know we kind of just popped ourselves at you know, how wrestlers are liked by the peers in the business, but Fit Finley's one of those who's very, very respected as a wrestler by his peers. But I kind of feel like his run in the late 2000s, mid 2000s is severely slept on. This is an old man, bro, going out there and just fucking.
In 2006, he's genuinely one of the best workers in the industry, and he's in his mid-50s. You know, and even when the one that people don't know at all and have not seen, and I implore anyone to watch this. When he leaves WWE, he goes and does the indies. And he has a couple matches with Sami Callihan. Yes, Sami Callihan. That are genuinely modern classics. And I think Charlie and Monty know me well enough to know that if I'm putting over a Sami Callihan match, it took me some convincing. Unbelievable matches. So, yeah, Fit's an all-timer. And his stuff in Germany, I've not even seen a lot of, but apparently that's the best work of his career.
Yeah.
So
I've heard really good stuff about a lot of his European stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shout out Fit Finlay, man. Shout out the Green.
You got to just deep dive these guys sometimes.
Yeah, you do. Absolutely. There's so many great wrestlers to that's the best way to study wrestling history, I think. Find wrestlers you like and go into their history, and then you meet other wrestlers along the way.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
Will Chisholm, $5 as we're winding down here. Did Tony get Parker because he slightly looks like Brock? Also, another trash guy Paul Heyman said would be a big deal. I mean, the promoter's curse, brother.
Paulie just getting the shit kicked out of him. Tremendous.
Yeah. I don't know, mate. I don't know what Tony's thinking. Right, let's wrap it up. I know Joe Hall, but speaking of Late Night Grin, he's going to be
Yes.
over there very shortly.
I am.
I will be locked in myself.
It's a big show, Monty. Big show. You know what we're doing tonight, right? Nominees, bruv. We're deciding the nominees for the only awards on the same level as the WrestlePurists Awards, the Golden Grinnies, with awards such as Best Hair, the Weekly Bob Observer Needle Mover of the Year, the Devon House Sea Show Wrestler of the Year. I mean, we're talking the creme de la creme, the big time. So
see how is Ring of Honor the C show?
I don't know if there are still C. I asked Oracle this, and he said Ring of Honor. I don't think Ring of Honor is a C show. They're just like an A show that people don't watch, right? Is there the only C show left is Main Event?
People would let you get away with NXT and Ring of Honor, I think.
Yeah.
I think the only real ones are NXT Level Up and Main Event. So
they're the only real ones, if you want to be technical.
Yeah. I believe in the real money. I believe in the real, but we'll be debating all that and more.
Wrestled on Level Up, so
there you go. Lola Vice is Oracle's leading candidate. I'll leave that there. Now, nonetheless, that'll be up here in 15 minutes. Twitch.tv/Late Night Grin. The fellas have got gifts to open too, which without spoiling anything, I think Monty can co-sign. They're very funny gifts awaiting these fellas. So it's going to be a blast.
Joey's an artist.
Our Christmas show. So if for some reason you watched this and said, I would like to watch more professional wrestling conversational content, guess what? We got you at Late Night Grin. So
it's like you covered. And Charlie, if you're sick of our voices, Charlie has wrote some words.
I did.
She's done another one of her world famous features. I don't think I'm overselling it all. They are world famous features by Charlie. The latest on Will Ospreay's year, and I think you've got another one coming out at some point as well. So
I do. I have two in the works.
Oh yeah.
We've got the Continental Classic breakdown, which is similar to my G1 breakdown. If you read that one back over summer, where I just
Charlie,
Charlie
like a few rounds in the G1.
God, it was a commitment, and I had a lot of
G1 as well, man. Jesus,
it was brutal, but listen,
there was like 60 wrestlers in it. It was crazy.
But so got that breakdown coming. We've got Tag Team of the Year. My schedule's a bit crazy over the next couple of weeks because holiday season, so that one might be beginning of January. We'll see what happens, but got a couple of things coming. Be excited about it.
Yeah, man, exciting stuff happening at the WrestlePurists HQ. Features. I really want to get the features popping again. Get them churned out as often as possible. We've just dropped one from one of our more newer writers, Devin. He's actually a very good writer.
Yes.
He don't quite have the world famous following that Joe Hulbert and Charlie have, but he's actually a very, very talented writer. So if you haven't read his feature on Athena and Billy Starks, and go check that out. I think it's one of our last tweets, so it won't take long scrolling through the WrestlePurists page to find it. But yeah, okay, that's enough for the plugs. We won't be back tomorrow, will we, Joe? We will not be back tomorrow.
No. I will be at the cinema.
So I do kind of want to do an actual Christmas special at some point. So I'm going to try. I can't promise anything, but hopefully at some point before Monday, obviously Christmas, I'm going to try and do some sort of Christmas stream. But yeah, as always, guys, please like, subscribe. Thank you for the super chats. Massively appreciated, as always. And thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you before Christmas. But if not, Merry Christmas from the WrestlePurists. From the WrestlePurists family. And I hope everyone has a happy holidays. Peace.